Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to review the 1947 movie Monsieur Verdoux, directed by Chaplin. In this movie Chaplin plays this former man who worked in a bank, but after the Great Depression in the late 20s he doesn't have his job anymore, and then he decided to kill middle-aged women who isn't married, and then he uses them and their money so he can get money to take care of his wife and his son. And at the same time it's a comedy, a black comedy, but it has a sense of darkness over it, and it's very different than the usual Chaplin style, where in this he doesn't play his famous character the tramp. Here he plays a serial killer really, and it's really also a film that is not as visual in terms of visual comedy that he usually plays, that you even when he started making sound films like Modern Times and The Great Dictator, there's still some parts of those that is very much like a silent film and not so much a talkie. And I think it's something like Claudius Chabrol talked about, that this is really his first really talkie film, where the dialogue is more important than the visual really. But there's still a lot of how should I say great comical scene where he uses his body, and where it is a visual comedy in that sense. But in many ways I really like Monsieur Verdoux. I think it is Chaplin in some ways at his most provocative, but also where he has more substance in some ways to what he wants to tell in his film. You can definitely see the influence of course, the Great Depression, but also the Second World War. It kind of looms into the whole film, and there's a sense of sadness and a sense of loss, really. And this man that Monsieur Verdoux, he has really lost something, his life, and he doesn't really care that much for life or for people in general, only his family. But he's very, in some ways he's lost hope. But he's a very sort of philosophical person. He has an idea about why he's doing what he does. But you can, but of course, he's I will talk some spoilers. In the end, he has of course he gets executed. You kind of know from the beginning that he will eventually die, but it's a film that is, for Chaplin standards, is very pessimistic. You are usually seeing Chaplin has a sense of hope in his films, even when they are most tragic or sad, like the Great Dictator, and in some ways Modern Times really, and some of his earlier works. But here there's not so much optimism really. The greatest parts of this film for me is where his character in some ways is in conflict between the thing he does and sort of, but also gets told what is really the right way to live. And there is this wonderful scene, I think the best scene in the whole film, which isn't a funny scene really, but it is where has decided he wants to try some new way of killing people, and he have some and he meets this young girl who has just come out of prison, and he takes her up into his apartment and puts something in the wine so she can die eventually. But they have a discussion, and she really starts talking about love and about giving and sacrificing for love, and she talks about her former husband, how she viewed him almost like a child, something she wanted to live for, and she has lost that, and now she has to start from the beginning really, because she has been in prison and now she's out. So in that way, in that scene, it's wonderful, beautiful scene, and the music is absolutely wonderful too. But I really think it's the film. The film is very deep in that scene, and I think I love the sort of way that how it states how we sort of understand that he's going to kill her, but then he decides. You see his doubt about, and he sees life in her, and he starts to maybe remember things that really matters, particularly love, really, and about caring for other people. And then he takes her wine with him, and give her some new where there isn't anything in the wine, so she doesn't die. But he meets her a couple of times late in the film, and I really like those scenes, because she's really if he is the devil, then she is kind of the saint. Really, there has to be that balance. Uh, but otherwise, it's a film that is quite dark, especially for Chaplin standards, and he is not graphic in any way, but you know that he kills many people, and you don't have a lot of sympathy for him, but you do understand his mindset really. You kind of want him to not succeed, but you want him to sort of find hope really. You want him to just be with his family and stop doing that thing, because in some ways you care for him, because the way Chaplin plays this character is very brilliant really. You don't have sympathy for him, but you have empathy for him. You understand some of his thoughts really. But there's also some wonderful comical scenes. I particularly like some of the scenes he has with one of his women, Annabella, played by Martha Raye, I think she's called. She is absolutely outstanding in this film, and her very dramatic performance really shines through with his more subtle performance, and they clash, and he wants to find a way to get rid of her, but she always finds a way to fool him, even though she doesn't know that he wants to get rid of her. And those scenes are magnificent. They are really funny. And there's this scene in the boat, and he tries to poison her and tries to put some rope on her neck, and everything goes wrong for him. It's absolutely brilliant comedy there. And there are also some fun scenes where he tried to seduce a woman, where he sort of says, "You're the love of my life," or something like that. Some brilliantly funny scenes there. And but yeah, in the end, it has he gets executed in the end, and you sort of see his last scene in the film is where he tastes Rome for the first time, and the last line is, "I have never tasted Rome," and I really like that last line, sort of like he has to discover something new about life in that last moment before he's going to die, and you have that. But the ending is still kind of bittersweet. Is I'm pessimistic. There's not much hope, and that has especially to do with the time it was made, I think. But I think it's quite brilliant, the film. Maybe it has some. You can argue what is the purpose really for him to do what he does. That maybe isn't explored that deeply, and you can have done that better if it was a drama, but as a comedy it works, I think, as a black comedy, of course. It has substance, but it has also a lot of humor, and in some ways heart. And I would highly recommend Monsieur Verdoux if you haven't seen it. I really, really like it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments what you think of this movie, and I hope you will all have a very nice day. Bye.